Hey, and welcome to this overview of the newly released Management of Change module from Mango. If we have a look down all the different modules on the left-hand side, you will now see the Management of Change module. Select it and select Report a Change. Now what we're going to use as an example here is one of the many changes to legislation that we've experienced recently. So the date requested was today, and we'll say a brief description is the updated COVID regulations. So that's a change. The type of change would be a change to legal or other. The classification of change could be this is a moderate change that will impact the organization. The potential severity, it's up to you. Obviously, all of this is customizable. You could relate it to products within your organization. And then also as part of the change, you can consider best practice, business requirements, communication, finances, etc. Who's the source of the change? We can say this is the government. The region that this would be applicable to is, let's say, all of our provinces and to the particular branches that we may have around the country that this would be applicable to. All of the departments are obviously then applicable, and it could be applicable to some projects that we have as well. So the current state, we are currently on lockdown, or we'll call it the adjusted level 3 regulations. The proposed change is moving to the adjusted level 4 regs. So some of the adjustments there will be to the COVID plan, gatherings, and you can go into greater detail here with regards to some of the improvements or some of the specific changes. Estimated cost of change, if you wanted to put a figure in there. I don't know if there's going to be any project savings. This target date of change is we want to implement this by Friday. Who the project sponsor is, let's say it's Angela, and some of the project stakeholders could be these people. I could then also upload a copy of the adjusted level 4 regulations. The type of change over here would be a legal and other, and it's then applicable to national legislation. The coordinator of this is going to be myself. I can obviously copy other people in. The change status as it stands right now is that we are in development of the particular changes. Once I press save, the coordinator is going to be notified, and I can then pick this up on my dashboard. So you can see a specific MOC has been raised. If I go back to my dashboard, I can then pick this up on my dashboard in terms of management of change. So there's the new lockdown legislations. I can either pick it up on my dashboard or I could pick it up in my investigations. So I'm now the coordinator. I open this up for editing. I'm now going to review the various different sets of legislation that have been input and the various different components. Right, I can see lockdown regs. Okay, fair enough. Legal and other, I can see some of the requirements that have been input here. I am going to add an additional task into here to update the COVID plan. This is a substantial impact on us. So the instruction is update the COVID plan as part of this management of change as per level 4. I'm going to assign this to somebody to action that, also known as an investigator, and the due date I want it by tomorrow. Okay, corrective action, I can put preventive action in and a summary of that, and I can say, please complete the task. So I'm now going to take it to the next stage, investigate an action. Now what happens is any of the investigators are then going to get a notification from the system where they can go and enact in that. If I go into my investigations and I open that particular MOC up and I edit it, I'm then able to go through, once I've completed, updated the COVID plan, You can see it's in the workflow, it's now recording all the various different interactions as well. I can then go and say COVID plan updated. I can upload as well. I can upload a copy of the updated COVID plan with that. Let's say it's there. Hypothetically, I'm just going to upload a fictitious document just to meet the requirements. So I've uploaded the new COVID plan. I can say that the task that's been assigned to me has now been completed, and I'm going to ask the coordinator to review. So the coordinator is now going to get a notification from the system where they can go in and they can review all of the work that's been done to date. Again, the coordinator will be able to pick this up in My Investigations. So the coordinator can pick it up. They can go through to the compliance costs. Okay, what procedures need to be changed? I can link it into some of the procedures. Files that needed to be changed were the COVID plans and some of the other indicators. Training is required. Skills that would be affected is, let's say, the induction. I can link it in there. I can link this into risks. I can link this into plant and equipment. I can create additional events. If I go back to the main details of the change, the costs, I can see and download the updated documents to check them, the type of change which it was. The system has then recorded the interactions in the workflow. I can see the tasks that have been issued to the various different people and that they've been completed. I can see what corrective action has been taken, what preventive action has been taken, and I can see tasks have been completed and the change risks mitigated, accepted, and closed. So what this does is this particular module brings a very structured approach to the management of change, from reporting it through to the coordinator reviewing, ascertaining exactly how the change is going to impact the organization from a budgetary perspective, from procedures, from files, from risks, from training that needs to be done. You can then allocate tasks to the various different people in your organization to address all the change requirements to mitigate against the change risk. You can allocate that to the risk assessment. You can track your corrective action, preventive action summary. Once it's completed, I can then close it out. So that particular one has now been addressed. And if I wanted to, I could pick that up in the change register. Let me just open more examples. So if I go down to MOC 15, I can then export that to PDF if an auditor wanted a copy of how we had managed that particular management of change. And there you can see it. There's the MOC, the sources of the departments, the details of who was affected, the compliance costs, the actual change costs, the various different action changes, the tasks list relative to what needed to be attended to manage the change. And there, all the various different workflow segments are tracked within the record for the management of change. So I trust that gives you a brief overview of the brand new management of change module that has been released by Mango.